trying to make the mistake of signing with the Denver Broncos so he can free tebow, free tebow, get him out of there, unleash him, free Tim Tebow, free him. Elway and Fox never ever bought into Tim Tebow. Free Tim Tebow, free Tim Tebow, free him, let him go, unleash him, free Tim Tebow, free him.
Skip, have I told you today how fantastic you are?
No. I'm a little embarrassed by that.
No, you're not.
Well, we're going to discuss it. Welcome in Hugh Douglas. Entertainment value just went up on this set. Brian Billick, talking to Pro Football Talk yesterday, he was asked the question if Tim Tebow were available in a trade, would you want to acquire him? Here's what he had to say. The Denver Broncos, who in a very unique way energized their fan base, the league as a whole, Tebow mania, found themselves in the playoffs and even won a playoff game with Tim Tebow. And they don't want him. Why should I, Brian? Okay. So, Doug, start us off.
No, I'm starting this with Carissa. I'm sorry.
What we talking about, man?
I'm big timing you. I'm going first on this one. It's my turn. This is my topic.
Your world. We called it
Play the shell game on us.
Yeah. You know, this just makes me sick to my stomach. Because, you know, why would Brian want him? I mean, well, why would you want a quarterback to come into your city and just turn it upside down and actually get everybody excited about your football team? Get everybody crazy about what's going on with your football team? Why would you want to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers and their #1 ranked defense in a playoff game? Who would want that? Nobody would want that. Come on, who would want that? So let me ask you this. Let me answer this question by asking you a question. What if we substituted Peyton Manning in here for what Brian Billick just said about Tebow? Indy cut Peyton Manning. Why should anybody else want Peyton Manning? Really? No, I'm serious. Well, here's the point. You know what the point is here?
There is one?
Every year there's this thing called the NFL draft, and every year 5 or 6 teams make huge mistakes on quarterbacks. And guess what? The Denver Broncos and John Elway are making a huge mistake on one right now. That's fine with me. But don't bring it to me, Brian Billick. Hey, if John Elway doesn't want him. John Elway, I say this all the time. The better you play, the greater you were as a player, oftentimes the worse you are as a judge of personnel. See Michael Jordan. You don't think Elway's making a mistake here, Brian?
Okay, I love Tim Tebow, but he ain't Peyton Manning.
On that last comparison, I'm going to defer to Mr. Douglas right here because I got to get my composure back.
Go, Hugh.
I don't even know where to begin.
You know why? Because you can't.
No,
you cannot refute what I just said.
No, because what Brian Billick is basically saying about Tim Tebow is that you saw the best of him last year. He is not going any higher than what he already did.
I'll take that. I'll take winning a home playoff game.
He was an electrifying player last year. But the problem is, when teams look at him and the circus that was caused around the Denver Broncos, nobody wants to deal with that.
That's a bad thing? To have a circus?
Yeah. The circus is a bad thing because Tim Tebow, when you look at it, he got that job because they were pressured into giving it to him.
No, they weren't.
By the fans.
Wait, hold on.
1-4.
They were 1-4. Wait a second. They were 7-24 in their last 31 games, which was the worst stretch
the team didn't
in the
want to
National
play
Football League.
The team didn't want to play
They were terrible.
The fans forced it.
Kyle Orton was terrible.
Yep.
Don't tell me fans pressured him. They had no choice.
Skip Bayless.
You don't.
The fan base in Denver pressured that organization.
Oh, please.
Pressured that organization to play Tim Tebow. Okay, so now John Elway has found, so he might have found it out with Peyton Manning.
I agree.
So the best thing for Tim Tebow to do, if anything, is to stay in Denver. Because if he gets cut, guess what? I know you're all high about Jacksonville taking Tim Tebow. They don't want to deal with that media circus.
We'll talk
What?
We'll
We'll just let it go into the next question.
Okay, fine.
We're already there
No,
anyway.
forget it.
Just let it fly.
The next question is if he's on
You
the trade
can't
block.
handle the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
Okay, listen, Colonel.
Let me say this, Skip. Once again, and this is a point that I've hinged on this entire Tebow conversation. So, John Fox, John Elway, and now you can add to the list Brian Billick have an agenda against Tim Tebow.
No, they just...
So Brian Billick, he's not even tied to the situation.
There's no agenda.
Brian Billick, speaking of free will and accord, has an agenda against Tim Tebow. That's what you're about to tell me, right?
No, that's not what he said. He didn't say that.
No, the
He
point
just said
is he's
if-
saying, in effect, if you read between the lines, he's saying that he can't play, Skip.
He says,
Okay,
if
that's what I'm saying.
No, he's just saying if Elway and Fox say he can't play,
Right.
why would I want it?
Right? Why would he, as a
Maybe
as a
because
GM,
you're smarter than they are? How about that?
Why would he, as a GM, as a coach, take Tim Tebow as well? That's what Brian Billick is
I know.
saying.
So this is
what you're saying.
No. Are you saying it's a sheep league where everybody should think
No,
alike?
I'm saying that everybody understands the guy can't play.
Holy
Except for you.
Everybody?
Yes.
Oh, really? Let's find out about
okay,
that.
Okay.
This is the beauty part of it. Excuse me, sorry.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So y'all let you.
Brian Billick has no
Let's bring it down. Okay, we're all yelling. Let's bring it down.
I'm not yelling.
You're
I'm
loud
speaking in my
you're speaking
usual
in
voice.
Your big boy
Okay.
voice.
Well, remember, I don't watch the show. So here we go.
Brian Billick has no agenda against Tim Tebow.
I agree.
So
He doesn't.
The
So
other,
why don't you take him for what it's worth?
Because he's wrong.
okay,
No, I mean-
the other question that we were getting to, and you had started with, was if the Broncos do put Tim Tebow on the trade block, who would take him? You have said that he should go to Jacksonville.
Sure.
Okay. Who else wants Tim Tebow?
Nobody.
Why?
Zero.
Because, Skip, this is the problem that you have. Okay, say, for instance, in a perfect world, he goes to Jacksonville. Blaine Gabbert just got there last year. He was thrown into a bad situation by the quarterback carousel that they had down there. Blaine Gabbert throws one interception. He throws one ball in the dirt. Guess what's going to happen? They're going to yell and scream for Tim Tebow to play. They're not going to give this guy a chance.
I think Skip is saying he'd go and start with Blaine Gabbert.
Hold on.
You got to get rid of Blaine Gabbert.
Hold on. Okay, so you
Get
have
rid of him.
Blaine Gabbert.
He was a first-round pick.
Wait. Hold on.
Skip.
At least
Skip.
I'm not being a hypocrite here. I said before the draft, Blaine Gabbert overrated. I saw it with my eyes last year.
Right.
He ain't all that. They
Right.
took him way too high.
I will agree with you on that.
If you want to win games, if you want to make Jacksonville relevant again, if you want to sell out that stadium, not just for
Okay,
next
if
year,
you're trying to-
but for the next 6 or
Right.
8 years,
Right.
go get
Well-
Tim Tebow. He will turn your whole franchise around. As Elway said, he changed the whole spirit of our locker room. He
Sell some
will
jer-
do
you
that.
can't deny
in
he'll sell
Jacksonville.
jerseys.
Here's the thing. If there's any good fit, and I say that very loosely, if there's any good fit, it is Jacksonville for the obvious reasons. We talked about it yesterday. But Skip, the reason why Billick said what he said is because the other 31 teams, including Jacksonville probably,
That's not
don't
why I
want-
said that.
The other 31 teams don't want to throw out their playbook to run option offense and with a guy who won 90% of his games in the last 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yes, Skip. No team
Wait.
wants that on their plate. That's the problem.
Hold on. Does winning matter anymore? Does it
Winning-
count?
Of course winning
Does it count?
matters.
Yeah.
Of course winning
Except
matters.
it,
Skip.
it matters to everyone except to Tim Tebow because you keep telling me he can't play. He just wins games, and I say, what's the object of
Okay, so
playing pro football?
can I ask you a question?
Wait, I got to ask you a question.
Okay.
Is the object to win games?
Yes, that is.
Thank
Yes.
you.
We play to win the game.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Hello?
Who says that?
Hello.
Oh, okay.
Remember.
Yeah.
Okay, so
if that's what you want to do, you should go get this kid. All he'll do is win games
Okay,
for you.
he-
He will change your whole franchise.
At Florida.
I thought you were a
National champ-
Tebow.
I am a
look,
Tebow.
it
Okay,
is-
let me say that. At Florida, in a system with a guy like Chris Lee, you put him in on short yardage situations. Do you take Tim Tebow on your team, not completely change the whole offense,
No.
but use him as more of
No,
a...
because of what Hugh said. The
Okay.
minute it goes bad
Okay.
for the starter,
Just a
starter makes one bad throw. Tebow.
He
You
doesn't
got a circus.
He doesn't have to come in as your starting quarterback, but you still
But he's
use him.
still on the roster.
This is what Brian Billick is saying.
Okay, so you don't think
This
he
is
should
the
go
problem.
anywhere?
You know, this ties into what we talked about yesterday. When we talked about Peyton Manning, if he goes to the Denver Broncos,
Right.
they have to release Tim Tebow. Why? Because he puts pressure on Peyton Manning. So if Peyton Manning is feeling pressure from Tim Tebow, how do you think another quarterback? is
Any
gonna
other
feel?
quarterback.
Any other quarterback on any other team in the NFL. If Tim Tebow is
Wait a
there,
second. Why would they feel pressure if he can't play?
because the fan base is gonna put pressure because they're gonna
Well,
look
You
at
know why they feel
Calm
pressure?
down.
You know what?
Because the management would have this sneaking suspicion in the back of its mind that if they put this guy in, that it would happen all over just the way it happened in Denver.
Skip, let
It
me
would
get-
be all over.
Six
let me
fourth
give you
quarter
this.
comebacks?
Yeah.
Skip, let me give you
Yeah.
Skip,